Our next project is a mug cozy. You'll need yarn, scissors, stitch markers, a button, your crochet hook, a tape measure, and a yarn needle. For this project, we're going to combine 5 different crochet stitches. Begin with a slip knot. Start by chaining 8. Count down 2 chains from the crochet hook. 1, 2. Add a single crochet stitch through the second chain. Add a double crochet stitch through that same second chain. Count down 2 chains from the last stitch, which will be stretched out. See how big that is right there? This is the next one after that, and then one more. Add a single crochet stitch through this chain. Then add a double crochet stitch through the same chain. Repeat this pattern twice more until you stitch through the last chain of the row. Finding 2 stitches from your current stitch, single crocheting, and into that same stitch, a double crochet. And it'll be the last chain, the first one you made. Single crochet, double crochet, chain 1 for a turning chain, and turn your work around. You can stretch the work between your hands to find the double crochet and single crochet stitches. Each row will have 4 single crochet stitches that you'll be working through. This short one here, if you go over, it's a double crochet, then you have another short stitch, a double crochet, a short stitch, double crochet, and your last one's a single crochet. Count down 3 stitches from the crochet hook to find the first single crochet stitch. You have your turning chain, the double crochet, and then this next one is your single crochet. Insert the hook through the single crochet stitch, going between both strands of this stitch, 1, 2, and single crochet into this stitch. Add a double crochet stitch through the same stitch. You can see here where it gets a little stretched out. If I pull on it, it's pulling on this stitch that we're going to go through again with a double crochet. To find the next single crochet, skip the next stitch and go into the one after that. You can see it here from the side, it's short, and from the top, it's just the next stitch after the one right next to where you're working. So single crochet and a double crochet. We'll do this 2 more times until we get to the end of the row. So skip that next stitch and then single crochet, double crochet, same stitch. One more time. It's sometimes hard to find this last stitch. It tends to curve down this way. But if you look at your work from the top and flatten it between your fingers, you can find both sides of this stitch. So skip this one and then through 1 and 2 loops. You might need your index finger to help you out. Single crochet and double crochet. This row also has 4 single crochets and 4 double crochets. You can see the single crochets are these shorter ones right here. And from the top you can kind of tell that they're a little smaller than the double crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We'll repeat that last step until our work measures 8 inches long. We'll count the stitches each row to make sure that there are always 8 stitches and we didn't accidentally pick up one or lose one along the way. To know how long to make your project, you'll want to measure the circumference of your mug. Mine's 11 inches, so I'll want my project to be 11 inches as well. When measuring your project, it's helpful to stretch it just a little because stitches will loosen over time, and the elasticity is what's going to keep it on your mug instead of sliding right off. So because my piece is 11 inches, the same size as my mug, I'm ready to go. I'll proceed by making the button flap. So from the end of this row, I chain 1, turn my work around, and count 2 stitches from my hook. The turning chain, and then this first stitch right here. I'll insert my crochet hook and slip stitch. In the next stitch, I'll do the same. Insert my hook and slip stitch. In the next stitch, I'm going to half double crochet, yarning over, inserting, pulling up a loop, and pulling through all 3 loops at once. I'm going to add 3 more half double crochets, into the next 3 stitches for a total of 4 half double crochets. Then I'll chain 1 and turn my work around. The 4 stitches I just added are a little bit raised against the rest of the project. We'll count 2 stitches down from my hook, not the turning chain, but the first real half double crochet, and we're going to add another half double crochet through that. And again, a half double crochet in each of the next stitches. So we once again have 4 half double crochets right here. Now we'll chain 1 and flip our work. We'll continue this pattern of 1 double half crochet in each stitch for a total of 4 half double crochets. We want our button flap to be about 2 inches long. Once the button flap is 2 inches long, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work around. We'll count down 2 chains from the crochet hook, not the turning chain, but the first real half double crochet, and add 1 more half double crochet, just like we started the last few rows in that stitch. Then we'll chain 4. Now, add a half double crochet through the last stitch in the row, skipping these 2 stitches and going straight into this last one. We'll give a little slip stitch into this chain right here, just to make sure it stays secure. There's no real stitch to insert into, so just find this little hole created by the chain on the side of your work right here. Slip stitch right into that. If you do want to proceed with making a border, you should know that this part is less of a science and more of an art. What you'll do is slip stitch across the entire border, finding spaces as you go. When possible, try to find 2 strands of yarn to go under. You won't always find a space with 2 strands of yarn and a hole big enough to go through, but when you can, it helps to make it secure. To help leave the corners as square and not rounded, you can chain 2 or 3. And that'll create a nice square corner like you see right here. a square corner, like you'll see right here. Keep slip stitching around. You might start to find a pattern of similar looking stitches that you find yourself slip stitching into. Or it might feel different every time, and that's okay too. As long as you're keeping the stitches roughly one row apart, or the size of one slip stitch, you can't really go wrong. Slip stitch borders also help your project from stretching out over time. It reinforces the shape. As you're approaching your last stitch, right before the chain 4, slip stitch into the last stitch, chain 1, and leave a nice tail for sewing in the ends. Leave a tail of about 4 inches for weaving in the end. We'll grab our mug now and wrap the mug cozy around to figure out where we need to place our button. For me, it'll be right on the end here, because this border made it a little less stretchy. We'll cut a piece of yarn long enough for sewing on the button, about 12 inches long. If you have a button where the holes are big enough for a yarn needle to pass through, you can use a yarn needle. If the button has smaller holes, a trick I like to use is finding your smallest crochet hook and checking to see if that fits through the hole instead. Stick the hook through the hole in the button and through your project to the other side. Grab the yarn, pull through the project, and through the buttonhole on the other side. Repeat this until the button is fully secured onto the bottom of your project. Once the button is securely attached, you can check to make sure that it fits. Pull your chain of 4 around the button, and if it fits, you're good to tie off. Knot the pieces you used for sewing in the back. Now you can use your yarn needle to weave your ends into the back of your project. And snip them very short so they can't be seen. Make sure you give your drink time to cool because putting a mug cozy around a very hot mug might cause the yarn to melt because it's acrylic. If you want to use this for a very hot drink, consider using cotton yarn, which won't melt. And now we have a mug cozy.